Okay, we should get started. You ready, guys? It's time. Go ahead and sit down. We're going to start seated today. And we'll end standing. We'll get some of both in, time permitting, of course. Welcome, everyone. This is Core Without the Floor. I'm Ron. Thank you for being here this morning. Let us start out with, nice and easy, get some rotation through the spine. So we're going to do a lot with the obliques again today. Start out this way, shoulders back, making sure you've got that alignment all the way down. Ears, hips, shoulders. You want to make sure you keep that spine straight, neutral position, so that it can rotate like it's supposed to. Starting out nice and easy, hands up. Roll the shoulders back, bringing the arms up overhead as much as you can, just stretching out those shoulders a little bit. Get those shoulder blades back. This is a great one for making sure that you get into your neutral position. You kind of hyperextend right here, drop down to the center, right back there, shoulders under the ears, and sweeping the arms back down again. Back up here into genie style. Make sure the knees, toes are pointed forward, and you want them pointed forward so when you do these rotations, which we're going to do right now, small. This is the first one, so start small. This is a great cue, those knees and toes staying forward. If they drop to the side at all, now you're starting to stretch that lower back, which doesn't rotate. So you want to turn, keeping the knees, toes forward, and bring it back to center. The other way, that way. Bring it around. Chin follows the wrists around or follows the chest. Take it slow to start out with. And bring it back. Arms out to the side. Stretch them right straight out. Palms forward. Roll the shoulder blades back. Open up the chest. And then we're going to go into a rotation again. Bringing the arms around a little bit farther if you can. Take some deep breaths while you're in here. Helps when you're in that full contraction, doing that rotation, getting as far as you can to take a deep breath while you're there. Roll the shoulder blades back one more time and bring it in. Bring it down. Excuse me, left hand outside the right thigh. Take that right hand. Let me rotate here. Bringing the hand around the back of the chair or the seat. Shoulder blades are back. Chest is out. Nice and proud. Proud. Chin up. And a little more rotation this time. Taking that back hand, the one that's on the back of the chair. Use it as just a little bit of leverage, a little bit, to bring it around. Again, deep breath in and back. So you always want to make sure on these that you're not rotating through the hips, that you're not coming off of the chair. Sits bone should always be flat, right there, no movement. Other side, shoulder blades back, looking right out at the horizon. This hand is great out here because it's keeping that knee from coming around. It holds the hips in place. And bring it back to center. Left, this one. Left arm up over the top. Going to do a side bend here. Again, don't let that weight shift through the sits bones. Keep them flat on the chair. Bring it over the top as far as is comfortable for you. Keep the head up so that you're not crimping the neck. And hand up over the top. Use the leverage. Use that ballast to bring you up. And over to the other side, same thing. Reach up and over. Sits bones flat on the chair, feet flat on the floor, knees pointed forward, and bring it back down. Excuse me. Hopefully you're out on the edge of the chair. We're going to start with just that little tuck, rolling the hips forward, squeezing those lower abs to bring it up. And then you can relax it, let the back flip out to the back here, flip out. Bring it back in, tuck it, back in again. And back down one more time. Arms up as you do that forward pelvic tilt. Roll the shoulder blades back. And back down again. Going to work on these hip flexors a little bit. Bring it up, part of the core. This doesn't. This is just getting us ready to warm up the muscles so that we can lift that foot up and going into just a little bit of a march. Coming up heel first, then the ball of the foot, and then back down again. Up and up. Make sure your shoulder blades are back as you're doing this because we're going to be doing other stuff. Up and up. And it's going to require you to be in a stationary position or in a neutral position. And start bringing that knee up just a little bit higher if you can once you feel these muscles starting to work a little bit more, get a little more engaged, warm up. You can pick that knee up just a little bit higher. Make sure the shoulder blades are back. Don't lose your neutral. All right, hands out to the side. We're just going to do a cross-body reach. So rolling the shoulders around, reach out to the opposite side, and bring it back. So remember, you're not just reaching one arm across. You're taking that shoulder girdle and rolling it and bringing it back out and in, working the obliques here to make that rotation happen. Those muscles on the outside of the core. And reach. Right straight across. And back. We're going to put the two together. Knee up, tap, rolling the shoulders. Up, using the lower abs. Obliques to get at that rotation. Hip flexors to lift the legs. Up. Lower abs are keeping that hip rolled forward. And up. Hold the core tight. Reach across. So you're not really reaching, a little bit, but you're really making sure you're rolling those shoulder blades. Rotation happens in the middle of the spine. Those obliques contract, bringing you around. And up. And we're good. All right. So bringing those feet up just a little bit higher. So the first thing I do this all the time, is I started not that bad, but I started to kind of lean forward. Shoulders came down, putting all sorts of stress on the back. I want the shoulder blades back as I bring those knees up. You can get the knee higher if you lean forward, but that's not what we're trying to accomplish. That bypasses the muscles. And core exercises, it's so easy to bypass the muscles we're looking for. All right, so rotation again through the shoulders and back. Get that knee up as high as you can. We're tucking those lower abs, working the hip flexors to lift the leg up, quadriceps to hold that knee at 90 degrees, and obliques to rotate the shoulder girdle. There's so much in this one. We got so many muscles involved. Around and around. Exhale as you make that rotation. Squeeze it in and up. Knees and toes forward. So I caught myself rolling my hips. Don't do that. Keep the foot flat on the floor. And around. And we're right there. Out halfway on the chair. So you want the chair to be, front of the chair to be about halfway back on the thigh. Hands on the chest for right now. Lean back. Nice and slow. Before you come up, roll the shoulder blades back. That uses these core muscles to tighten up to pull you out and back down. So it's that imaginary string coming out of the chest. Hopefully it's imaginary. And bringing you upright. Stopping when you get 90 degrees in the hips. Arms out front. Tap the back of the chair. Just tap it. Reaching forward, roll the shoulders out. So we're using lower abs and upper abs here. Out. I'm sorry, that's back. And out. One more time. Take it back. Bring it up. If this is too easy for you, all you have to do is bring those hips out just a little bit. Walk yourself out of the chair and try it from there and make it work. Make those muscles work just a little bit harder. Challenge, but don't hurt. Back against the back of the chair. And I'm going to go back a little bit for this one because we're going to take the leg, extend it out, tuck, and down. Other side. Up, out, and down. So what you need to be careful of here is don't let that lower back arch down. You want to have that neutral spine, little curve in the lower part of the back. So we're doing a leg press, working the hip flexors and the lower abs. Out, in, and down. Wow. Keeping that lower back up. In and down. One more time each side. Up, out, and down. Last one. Out, and down. Hands on the chest. Here's what we're going to, no. Hands out front. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Bring the knee up. Push out. As you come into that tuck, bring the shoulders forward and then move out. So it's up, press out, Crunch it all together. Lower abs, work on bringing the leg up, keeping that lower back with a little arch in it. Upper abs work to bring the shoulders forward. Arms are out front so that if you're back here, it's a little harder to keep your form. It's a little easier when you're up here. When the arms are out, it helps bring you out just a little bit. So out, leg press, in, shoulder blades stay back, chest stays out, up, in, and down. Knee up, press out, tuck coming forward and down. That tuck helps a lot. That when you're coming forward, bringing that leg in at the same time, you don't have all the weight way out away from the body. One more time. Shoulder blades back, foot up, press it out, bring it in, and down. Hips apart just a little bit, or legs apart just a little bit. Not real wide, a little wider than shoulder width apart. A little bit of a hip hinge here. Arms back. We're going to do a windmill rotation here, a propeller, airplane, things directly apart from each other, turning around. Shoulder girdle. This is what you're looking for here. You're holding the back. So you've got those shoulder blades back. You've got that little arch in the lower part of your back. Reach down and up. Again, obliques are doing the work here to get you into that rotation. And around, up, and other side. Bring it up to the middle. We've got the lower abs going next. Feet apart. Shoulder blades are back. We're going to go into just a little bit of a hip hinge here. So coming down, keeping the shoulder blades back, chest out, and back up again. So you're out on the edge of the chair. Feet are a little bit apart. Don't push through the heels to bring you back up. Use that core. So what you do is roll the shoulder blades back first. Tighten that core up. As these muscles contract, they're going to bring you up. Tightening up. Down. Squeeze. And up. Down. Hold it. And up one more time. And I got that completely wrong. It is not the core. Core's working to bring you forward. Glutes are working and lower back to bring you back up again. There we go. Sorry about that. Arms out to the side. Hip hinge. Rotate the shoulders and come back up. Really important here. Don't reach across. Don't bend and turn. It is that windmill we did at the very beginning there. Around as you do the hip hinge and bring it back. You want to keep that torso up and down, spine in neutral, hip hinge with that rotation, and bring it back up. Down. So we're working the front and back, the obliques. We're getting that rear chain as well as the front chain. Up. Core muscles pull us down. Shoulder blades stay back. Rotation happens through the obliques. Bring it back up to the middle. And down. Next. Bring yourself back on the chair far enough that the backs of the knees are pretty close to the edge of the chair. What I'm going to do is keeping those shoulder blades back, just extend at the knee and bring it back. Oh, my hamstrings are really tight. And back. Keep the shoulder blades back as you make that extension and bring it back in. So we're back on the chair because we're going to have all this weight out front. And I want to make sure that we keep the back in neutral. If you're out on the edge, it's a lot harder because that weight is way farther out and the core has to do a lot more work. But that's how you can adjust just a little bit, is bring your butt forward just a tad, and back. All right, see if you can bring, the other reason we're way back here is see if you can lift both legs and then bring them down. If not, stay with the alternating. But if you can, keeping the shoulder blades back and chest out, down and up, down and up. So we're going to do a, if we were on our back on the floor, roll the shoulder blades back. We're going to get against the back of that chair, lift the legs, And then see if you can do just a little bit, just barely bringing your shoulders away from the chair, up with the feet up. So this is working the upper and lower abs on the bottom part, upper abs keep the shoulder or the chest back, bringing the rib cage forward, holding, and then back down. So I wasn't having any problems with that. I'm going to move out on the chair just a little bit. Hands on the chest, out front, wherever you want to put them, but make sure those shoulder blades stay back. If you need to, just lightly hold on to the back of the chair or the bottom of the chair or the back of the chair. Out, crunch just a little bit, bring those shoulders up off the floor, off the back of the chair, and then back down again. So it's up. So this would be a canoe if we were on the floor where everything is being done in the core. Back down, bring it up. If this doesn't work, single leg and back. So you just bring one leg up and do that crunch lightly. The pressure on that stationary leg or your stance leg, your brace leg, is light if you're doing one leg at a time. Up and back down one more time. Bring it up, hold it, and back down. We should stand up. The next part of this is from a standing position. So we're going to have our chair right here, and we will go to standing. I'm going to grab a drink of water here. Don't need our chair for the first one. Little bend in the knees. Find your neutral before we start. Take your time. Whenever you're ready to get back into it again, that's where we go. Shoulder blades are back. Ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, all roughly aligned. But you've got just a little bit of bend in the knees. So the knees aren't back, locked out. They've got just a little bit of a bend forward. I need a tailor to be able to take those up just 2 inches. All right. So we're going to start in that neutral position. Arms up diagonally. To start out, just bring those hands. We're going to do a wood chopper. Hands come across the chest, nice and close, and then rolling the shoulders, bring it down. Up, hips don't move. Again, knees, toes, just like when you were seated. All the work here happens through the obliques. And this is where we can cheat so easy, is we roll the hips around, and we're not getting these muscles that we need to hit and around. I was talking to my wife this morning, and I was saying that people don't like core exercises because core exercises are hard. They're all very hard to get the right muscles involved and down because the stronger muscles always want to take over. Stronger muscles are right here in the front, up, and they will always do the work for the weak muscles. So bring those arms around, roll the shoulders, getting those obliques out. And obliques especially, those muscles on the outside of the core are so easy to cheat because we roll the hips instead. Down one more time. Up and back down. Hands on the ears right here, circling the ears. We're going to go into a hip hinge. So feet are a little wider than shoulder width apart. This is the one. Butt goes right straight back. Knees stay over the ankles. Now coming back in, feel the floor underneath. The work is being done, but down there to start out with. And then you squeeze the hips so that the knees never, ever leave the same plane as the ankles. Down and back up. You don't have to go very deep on this one. You go where you can. Hamstrings are going to start to stretch out a little bit. Stop when you get there. Otherwise, the muscles are just going to fight each other. And bring yourself back up again. Down. So we're working the hamstrings, the glutes, and the lower back is working here too to hold us in place. Glutes are what we're looking for as well as that lower back to strengthen it up. Down, butt out, and bring it back again. Arms up on the side. These two go together. Bringing the hands across. As you rotate the shoulders, push the butt out. So this is how a wood chopper is supposed to be done. What usually happens is rolling the back. I did this all the time. I had no idea that wasn't what we're looking for. Up, Had to study. Down in that hip hinge, knees stay over the ankle, rotate the shoulders, and squeeze, bringing the hips back up. Forward, hip thrust around so the spine stays in neutral all the way, and up. If you golf, this is a really important piece of your swing, and bring it up. Other side, same thing. Down, hip hinge, rotate the shoulders, and back up again. So a little bend in the knees, feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Hands come down right next to the chest. As they do, butt goes right straight out. Shoulder blades rotate and bring it up. So what I'm trying to do is we only have a half hour, so I want to try to get as many muscles involved in each movement as we can. And this does that. This works front and back. One more time. Down and up. Going back to the obliques. We're just going to take, it's a cross punch, roll the shoulders, and bring it back. Remember, rotation happens in the middle of the back. So as you reach across, the shoulders turn, but not the hips. And back in. This is another one we cheat. We roll the knees out. We get the hips involved. That just puts a stress on the lower part of the back because all you're doing is pulling the muscles. So reach and back. Just the shoulders. Again, great cue. Knees and toes point forward. Across and back. Out. And back one more time. Both ways. Once that way. And once that way. Lower body. We're going to work the outside of the hips on this one. Remember, core is from the bottom of the pelvis all the way up. Oops, that was too high. The bottom of the ribs. We're going to take and work the outside of this hip up, out, tap, in, and back. So first thing you do is bring that leg up. Barely, if you need to sweep with the foot on the floor, that's perfect. That's not a problem. We're working the outside of the hips. So we're not working those hip flexors as much. Tap, get your balance, up, and back in. These muscles are so important. So we're stretching. We're also giving our hip great flexibility as we pick that up and rotate it out. Hips lock. We lose that. That's a universal joint, and we lose that movement in it. And it's really important that we get it and keep it up, out. That's how you keep your hips forward. Otherwise, you're following it around. And if you do, all of a sudden your weight is imbalanced, and you're likely, chances of falling are much greater when you have to turn the whole torso like that. Tap and bring it back one more time. Up, out, and back in. Hands up. We're going to bring that leg around, reaching through the shoulders and bringing it back up. Hips stay forward. The only thing that's moving is that joint. Whoa, reach across and bring it back. So we're working the obliques and the outside of the hips at the same time. Plus, we're getting lots of flexibility, lots of movement through that middle of the spine. Up, rotate, roll the shoulders, and back in. So what you're really looking for is on the stationary leg, knee and toe, point out in the front. Out and around, up and in. Up to the outside and back in. Up, punch across, bring it up and back in one more time. Reach and bring it in. Other side and back. Good exercise. I like that one. Hip hinge. Grab onto the back of the chair for this one. What we're trying to do is get down into a tabletop. So little bend in the knees. Knees stay over the ankles. Butt goes back on this one. Get down as low as you can, holding onto the back of the chair. Once the hamstrings start to stretch in the back of the thighs, you're done, because otherwise the muscle's just pulling against itself. And step up, step in. And one more time, step back. Drop in pushing down on the chair for this one, getting the shoulder blades back. So this is the first part of the exercise that we're going to do. I just want to make sure you've got this piece, that your form is good in here, that you're not cheating it or you're not dropping the head down. Bring it up, because then you're just going to get hurt. All right, one more time. Step back. Here we go. Let's get the rest of it involved. Foot out, Left leg first, tap the toe, lift it, and bring it back in. Other side, up, out. Don't twist as my torso wanted to do on that one, and back in. So when you lift that leg, what the torso wants to do, so you're picking that leg up, the torso wants to lean the other way to counterbalance. You're on that single leg. Here's where you're using the muscles in the core. The transverse side to side is you're keeping yourself in alignment, back leg up and back down, other leg back and down. Step into the chair, shake that out. Here we go. Combo move. I love this exercise. It's a rainbow is what it's called. Back. What we're going to do is take that back, that leg back, up and across, up and out to the side. I'm going to do it from a different direction here. So I'm stepping back, lifting that foot up off the floor. I'm still in my tabletop position, taking the leg and bringing it across. And here's what usually happens. Torso turns too. That's where we're cheating it. Up and across, tap, bring it up and back. Other side, step back, tap the toe, pick the leg up, small move across here. Just make sure the hips aren't turning. You're working the core muscles to keep the torso parallel with the floor. One more time each side. Step up first. Roll the shoulder blades back. Let's give that back a break in case you were hunched at all. Step back again into tabletop. Start there. Roll the shoulders back. Get that little arch in the lower part of the back. Step out. Foot up and across the other one. And then come back. And into center one more time on the other side. Back. Across. To the other side as far as you can go without twisting. Up. And back in. So one thing we don't think about, go ahead and sit down. We'll finish up here seated. One thing we don't think about is that when we do an exercise like that, it's not just that moving leg that's working. The core is working like crazy to keep the hips square to the floor. So it's not just the moving leg, it's all the muscles in the body working together to hold you in place that are also activated. All right, you ready? Let's finish out. Feet apart, shoulder blades are back, palms of the hands on the thighs, drop down the middle, keep the chest up. So the hands are here for two purposes. One is to keep the shoulder blades back as you lean into this so that you keep that spine in neutral. It helps that. Feel the stretch in the lower back. And now, using the hands, push, push, push through the palms, through the thighs, using the chest and the arms to get you back up, not using the lower back. Hands in front. We're going to dive under the chair. Chin and chest stay evenly apart here between the chin and the chest. Reach back under the chair as far as you can. Hands around on the thighs and push yourself back up again. Do that rotation one more time. Over. Another way to do this is leg up, across, then grab the back of the chair and do that rotation. You won't get as much turn, but you will get a stretch in that hip. So we can kind of involve those piriformis muscles at the same time. We're stretching out the upper back and to the other side. Be careful with this one. If this doesn't work for you, that's fine. The other thing you do is you don't have to go all the way up over the top. You can just put the ankle over the shin. Same thing, around, shoulder blades back, chest is out. And again, wherever you feel that stretch on the outside of the hip. All right, we're going to do a couple deep breaths to finish this out. Hands underneath the thighs, roll the arms back. Again, we're taking the pressure off the back. We're using some big muscles in the upper body to pull back, arms up overhead. Deep breath in as you're doing that, through the nose. Push the stomach out, exhale. Bring yourself back on the thighs, squeeze the thighs as much as you can. Get that stomach pushed down into the thighs, forcing the air out, and then back up. You want to get all the air out so you can get all sorts of fresh air in instead of keeping that slushy air that's already in the lungs, that's already used up the oxygen, displacing fresh air, and exhale, bringing the arms down. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Always do.